I tried a tried my first proper live just a second ago, and there was no sound, which I think was because I had some headphones attached and switched on. And I had lots of people, which was really lovely. I thought I didn't really know what to expect with a live. I thought I'd be talking to myself, but I had several people who came and kindly told me that there was no sound, which was very helpful. Oh, we got people. Yes. So Anthony Kai, hi. Hi, thank you for joining me. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me, if there's no sound. Finally, yes, it's Cyrus. So, yes, excellent. So it's Cyrus, thank you for, well, thank you both for all the support you've given my channel, because you're both regulars. Mutant Gaming CODM, another regular. Yeah, thank you very much, because, you know, you guys have been hugely helpful. We can hear you, my friend. It's brilliant, thank you. So, it's weird, I usually take my glasses off when I do this because you get reflections of the glasses, but if I do that, I can't see the comments, which are kind of very small down on the screen. So, yeah, so it's nice to do it live. I've been meaning to do one for a while. Didn't really know quite how to do it. I looked on, you know, because my go-to is YouTube, so I looked on YouTube for guidance on how to do lives, and I found some, but it was all about how to present them, not about, you know, the technical aspect of them. And I just needed the basic technical aspect of it, really. So things like putting sound on and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm winging it, really. Right, yeah, so yeah, that's nice. People talking to each other, having a chat. So yeah, I haven't done any videos for a while. I've been I kind of went through a phase of doing one a day, or at least we'll put one out a day. Yeah, last week or so, not so much. I think that's normal. It kind of goes in an ebb and flow. That's partly also why I wanted to do a live now, just to sort of say hello and touch base with everybody. It's been an amazing day here, incredibly wild weather, which I did go out in briefly. I went out to soak in a hot volcanic pool, which sounds more dramatic than it actually is. It's a spa, a local spa with hot volcanic water. And it's a place I go to quite regularly, and it's very restorative, soak in these hot baths. So I did that, and then I did a few chores afterwards. It's mainly going into shops and things like that, but I managed to kind of come out of the heat of the hot spa into the you know, wild, crazy cold rain, which is actually nice. You know, it was kind of quite a nice kind of contrast, really. For a little while, and only very briefly, and then I've been having quite a lazy day, which has been really good, which is cool. So I did a video the last proper video that I did was, I think, me coming out video. Did a coming out video, and I did a brief video on retroactive jealousy, which is a series that I often cover. But I did one coming out on getting hearing aids. I haven't actually got them in at the moment, but I did say I'd give it an update on how I'm getting on, because I did a short video the very first day of wearing hearing aids. And so I've gone through the end of week 1, really, of wearing hearing aids. Had, you know, experienced things like battery problems. I lost a battery because they're very easy to lose. So I've learned a few things about where to put the batteries in and things like that. Otherwise, you can just lose them, and then that's a pain. So I had one day where I couldn't wear it because I put them on at work, and when you switch them off, you just open them up so the battery doesn't drain. And the batteries automatically fall out, so I learned that. Itchy ears, that's the only problem. They itch like crazy, but I've been told that if you put a bit of olive oil in your ear the night before, that helps, and it does. And I think it does work with time as well. So it's been good, and yeah, I've been hearing things that I wouldn't have heard before, particularly like clinical work. So, you know, I've noticed, you know, and those are my main drive, I guess, for getting hearing aids was I'm a listener, a professional listener, so you know, it's not great for my clients for me to keep saying, you know, sorry, can you say that again all the time? And I don't know, I got a feeling Kiwis, by and large, talk more quietly than Brits. So I do, you know, come into contact with a lot of people that seem to talk very quietly. Maybe that's just my experience of, you know, maybe my hearing loss coincided with coming over here. But I did seem to experience lots of people with very quiet voices. Right, so I do need to put my glasses back on because I can't see the comments. So yeah, has anybody want to ask any questions or talk about any of the videos I've done, or request any videos, or ask any questions that are related to some of the stuff that I cover? I've thought I'd quite like to do this actually, because I'm a psychotherapist by profession, is doing a kind of an agony, a YouTube agony column, you know, problem, like a problem page, like a Dear Deirdre, or you know, Uncle Marky. And actually kind of you know, respond to issues and problems that people might have. Bearing in mind that, you know, I don't think I know everything about everything, and you know, lots of things I would have to research, and obviously I would be referring people to other people that know more than me about particular areas. But that did kind of occur to me as a thing. But I mean, you know, just general questions. So in terms of the channel, although I do quite a lot of fairly kind of frivolous things on the channel, it is quite a serious channel, and the retroactive jealousy, which, so I guess 50% of, not necessarily numerically, I guess, it'd be difficult to know what the numbers are, but a large community of people that follow this channel are people that probably suffer or have suffered from retroactive jealousy. And are interested in that side of it, and probably the other big, you know, group of people that follow the channel probably have no interest in retroactive jealousy and follow for other things. So it's an interesting kind of mix, really. So retroactive jealousy is one of the big things that I want to cover on the channel, and always will, and we'll keep doing. I don't believe in just kind of churning out endless videos on retroactive jealousy, because what you ultimately do is end up just repeating yourself and you know, scraping the barrel, really. I don't want to do that. I always tend to do videos when I feel inspired to. So that's why I kind of quite often start a series on a topic, and then it takes me a while to kind of come back to it, so I'll be full of enthusiasm. So I did a series, for example, on psychotherapy and what psychotherapy is, and did about 4 episodes, and haven't come back to that for a long time. I've done quite a bit of stuff on autism, ADHD, things like that. Cover those. So the real aim of this channel is quite a serious and quite ambitious one, really. It's to debunk a lot of myths, give some clear information where things often there's a lot of confusion. I find, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I find often people don't explain things very well, and you know, often on quite important topics, and I find sometimes I can read about a topic before, you know, sometimes a penny drops and it makes sense to me, and then once the penny drops, I think, well, why didn't they just say that in the first, you know, why wasn't that information made available clearly and simply in the first place? I think the mistakes people often make in presenting information is they don't put it into context. So so they kind of start talking about something in isolation, and it's difficult to get your head around it and link it to anything else in your brain. And also, I don't know, people seem to, when I say people, you know, I'm talking about books, I'm talking about documentaries, and talking about, you know, articles. Often they seem to come at things from not the clearest of angles. So my kind of goal is to, for the things that I know a little bit about, provide that, really. They say, you know, if you want to write a novel, write the kind of novel you would like to read. I suppose in terms of presenting information on topics, I present the information in a way that I would like to receive it, really. So and I know, you know, I'm not normal. You know, I'm not neurotypical. You know, I think about things and look at things. Hello. Oh God, my eyes. ABM do. I I've just got these new glasses. I've had eye surgery. I've also had these new glasses, and what I need to get used to is holding things further away. And actually, I can see really clearly when I hold them further away. But I'm used to just, you know, getting close to things and squinting at them. So, which doesn't work. So it's going to take me a while. So yeah, so I present things in a slightly injured. So I kind of think this channel, well, I know this channel is not going to be a major mainstream channel, but what I like to think is that there are certain people that are on the same kind of frequency and find the way that I talk about things is in their language, and you know, and get it really, and it becomes a kind of not quite a cult channel, but a niche channel. People that just like my informal, homely, rambling style, where I take the effort to kind of explain things from the beginning, and come about them from a way that I think, you know, will make sense to a lot of people that struggle in the same way that I do, I suppose. And I like to talk about serious things where, you know, so I talk about a lot of mental health issues, and things where there's a lot of misunderstanding, and a lot of things where misunderstanding is actually very harmful, you know, in some cases dangerous. And because I always say the right information heals. So, host, where are you from? So I am from the UK originally. So I was born in the same county as Stonehenge, Wiltshire, which is quite an amazing place. You've got the ancient chalk downs with you know, things like Stonehenge and Avebury Stone Circle and all that, and then you've got the places like the Bybrook Valley, where you've got Castle Combe, the famous. If you see a picture of a you know, a pretty English village, you know, on a biscuit tin or something like that, that's nearly always Wiltshire. That's one of the Wiltshire villages. Usually Castle Combe, but other places. So that's where I was born. And then I kind of gradually moved further west by different degrees. So I moved to Bath, which wasn't very far away, but Bath's an amazing city. Do go to Bath if you get the chance. And then to Devon, spent a lot of time in Cornwall, kind of lived part-time in Cornwall, because I worked in Cornwall. And then about 3 years ago moved to Aotearoa. Aotearoa is the proper name for New Zealand, so that's the Maori name for New Zealand. And Aotearoa literally means the land of the long white cloud. I like to use the word Aotearoa because New Zealand, which is what you know most of the world knows us by, has 3 official languages, which is great. Well, there's some of the great things about this country. So there's English. There is one. I'm not sure which sign language, but you know, one of the sign languages for the deaf, because there are several. That's one of the official languages as well. And Te Reo Māori, which is the Maori language. And my attitude to being here is that it is a Maori country, that some Europeans came along to and interfered with at different stages in its history, but that at its core, culture is Maori. And there is a strong legal precedent for it as well. And I think I've done a video on this. Check out if I've done a video on the Treaty of Waitangi. But strictly speaking, New Zealand wasn't colonised in the same way as places like Australia, where the British just came in and kind of planted a flag in the ground and took over. Or, I mean, it was always more complicated than that. You know, but basically, you know, local people were sold down the river in one way or another. Now, the same thing did happen. You know, people in Aotearoa, New Zealand, were sold down the river. But there was actually a legal treaty that said that the deal was that all the natural resources would belong to Maori people, and law and order and governance would be provided by the British. And that treaty effectively still stands. So the way I look at it, I am in a Maori country. Now a lot of white New Zealanders may have a strong objection to that, but that's the way I look at it, really. So I'm slowly, bit by bit, trying to learn the Maori language, and that's how I view it, really. So although I use the word New Zealand a lot, hey, Kay Flower, hello. I'm going to ramble about the who owns New Zealand on a rant. The Maori culture is fascinating. It's a brilliant culture. So when I was in the UK, I think being influenced by growing up near Stonehenge and being in places like Cornwall, I got really interested in paganism and the pre-Christian traditions. What's left over from the ancient, if you like, the Aboriginal traditions of the UK. And so I learned a lot about the kind of Celtic culture, and but most has been lost. We fragments have survived, and to an extent you can rejoin the dots. But what's really fascinating about living here is you can see the culture, the legends, the beliefs, the values of a pre-Christian culture that hasn't yet been dismantled. It nearly got dismantled, and by God, some damage was done to it and some harm was done to it. But the law, the tikanga, the way of being, the customs, ways of life, the kind of I'm kind of repeating myself a bit here, but values are still intact. And what fascinates me is how similar, all kind of not necessarily just pre-Christian, but countries where the original indigenous beliefs still exist, that haven't been trampled over by another culture that's come in. So it's not always Christianity that changes these cultures. So I think Islam, and probably Buddhism, as much as people think of Buddhism as a really kind of gentle tradition, when Buddhism sweeps into a country, or Hinduism or something, it's where there was another belief system before that, we start to lose the belief system that went before that. And what fascinates me a lot is how Maori tradition is very similar to the Celtic tradition in lots of ways, in terms of beliefs and legends. Also artwork, some of the artwork's really similar. So I kind of think that all indigenous spiritual traditions are probably very similar. Particularly the ones, most of them do seem to take the inspiration from the landscape, from the land. So that's it's kind of interesting. So yeah, how did I get onto that? Somebody asked me where I'm from. I haven't been here very long. I haven't explored very much. So much to see. So I live in the shadow of, not literally in the shadow of, but it's a nice romantic term, isn't it? I live next to a volcano, which is why I was able to, I was talking earlier, for those of you who are here, about how I was able to go to a local spa, where hot spring water is piped up, and you can bathe in a lovely hot tub of hot spring water, which is alkaline water. So what I've learned since being here is that a lot of volcanic springs are either sulfurous or they're alkaline, and you can get one next to the other, which is kind of quite weird. So alkaline water, I had an alkaline water soak today, which was kind of nice. And I also got soaked in the rain. So yeah, there we go. So any other questions? Somebody popped up a short while ago and said they had to go to bed. that's the weird thing is all time zones, isn't it? Because here, where I am, it's just coming up to about 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, we're international world with international time zones. So quite often I have to have communication with people, different parts of the world, and work out what the time zones are and that kind of thing. And do things late at night or early in the morning in order to kind of find a window when it's a good time for both of us. So yeah, so I talked a bit about the channel, talked a bit about where I am. Yeah, so I need to work out as well the optimum time for doing lives, because and there probably is one. I think it probably wouldn't be too difficult to work out. It's probably what some of the data that you can access through YouTube is when the channel's most active, and that'll be really the time to do a live. I just did a live now because it was a good time for me, really. So there we go. Okay, well, thank you for saying hi, all the people that popped in. I need to learn a lot more about doing lives and when to do them and how best to do them and stuff like that. Last time I did live, I couldn't work out how to actually kind of stop going live, so I think I had to actually just switch the phone off in the end. I thought it'd be live forever. So thank you for watching. So I always end videos with the word Rangi Marie, which is a Maori word for peace. So there's a lot of people say peace at the end of videos, so I'm just saying peace. And I will be back with some more kind of topical content soon. Can't tell you what it will be because I'm always in the moment, so it could be anything. But I will keep covering, you know, the standard topics that I do. And thanks very much. You know, appreciate everybody that's supported this channel. It's been, you know, massively helpful. Rangi Marie.